Hello, Mario. First of all, I would like to thank you for having me. Greetings from Sineblog.org.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
You are in independent filmmaking. Is it by your choice, or you had to choose that way?
You have to start somewhere. Starting is the most important part. You can think about wanting to do something all your life and end up not doing it at all. Having regrets of not doing what you love is one of the worst things that can happen to you. And so it's totally my choice, and I think 99% of everybody who wants to make a film, starting indie film projects is the only way to go. The possibilities everybody has today are far beyond 10, 20, 30 years ago. That also makes every field more crowded than ever, but yeah, it's the only way to get into it.
What indie means for you?
For me, personal indie means a lot of freedom, improvisation, creativity, and of course, very little money. There are indie films with high budgets, but I think what I just mentioned is what it means for most people. And I believe the first thing that comes up in everybody's mind is when they hear indie, are art house movies that are heavily character and story based. Whereas in big productions, everything is solved by writing checks. You see, you need a crane, here you have some money and hire one. You need some extra light, take that money and buy some. I don't say that this doesn't lead to creative and passionate results, but I dare say that big budgets can suck a lot of creativity out of a project.
What is filmmaking for you? Telling a story, awards, fame, or something else?
Filmmaking is visual storytelling. Possible awards and fame are not part of it. If at all, they come after the filmmaking. I believe they shouldn't be the most important motivation. It is nice to get an award, but I already see it as a badge of honor if we get into the official selection of a film festival. This encourages you to go ahead and get better in what you are doing, and this is already very rewarding because you manage to convince people outside of your inner circle.
Your feature film, LONERS, is it the definition of your filmmaking philosophy?
No, I don't really know what filmmaking philosophy is. But LONERS is a very experimental film where we try to get our toes wet. And if it counts as a philosophy, then I would say that making a movie with a shelf life longer than a week and one that isn't forgotten as soon as the credit roll at the end is over. This would be my philosophy.
How can you summarize LONERS' story in a few sentences?
Two loners looking for closure, one gets caught while the other is on the hunt for him. When they face the same enemy, they have no choice but to team up.
Could you have all you wanted to have in your film?
Yes and no. And here's why. If I would have had a bigger budget, it would have become a total different movie. Probably I would have even written a much bigger story. And that said, I wrote the script with the budget in mind and the limited resources in mind. Where I come from, we don't have actors and actresses in droves. It is very hard to find volunteers. You have to convince them because many people don't recognize their own capabilities. And since it was our first filmmaking and acting experience, we had to learn a lot. So for the longer parts, I treated the other actors and myself on Dustin Hoffman's masterclass. LONERS was really our film school, and don't get me wrong, I don't live in the illusion that we now know it all. The next movie will be the next semester, where we try to avoid all the mistakes we made in order to make new ones.
Was there any time you wanted to end the project at all? And then, what kept you up and running?
There were a lot of funny moments whilst filming. I guess we went through a lot of emotions during the whole process, especially in post-production. There was never a moment though where I wanted to give it all up. During the filming process I had to recast one of the roles 3 times and then decided to change the script. And as it turned out, it worked. It was good for the end result, even though I first went through a lot of stress with that part. I will not tell you which part it was, but everybody involved knows the details, and it is just what it is.
What is the hardest part of making an indie film? Script writing, actors, shooting and so on. Which one or which ones?
It isn't easy to pinpoint one hardest part, as every aspect of the film making process has its own hardest part. So we started shooting before the script was finished, and this is a thing that I will never do again, that's for sure. But you know, you want to get going once you convinced people that they should volunteer in a movie. Luckily I had all the beats of the story in my mind, and writing while shooting was actually not that of a bad idea. If something changed when it came to actors or locations, I could easily adapt and react to it in real time. That was a big adventure. We also one time, we discussed some scenes beforehand. So there was one with nearly 2 pages of dialogue, and after I discussed it with the other actors, we decided to do the scene without any dialogue at all. In the end, it worked much better. While I was writing the scene, I let myself carry away with the usually cliché movie talk, what most of us have in their minds, and I was really glad that we left that out. It made the scene so much better. And working with the actors was sometimes hard as well. You see, writing the script is a very lonely, often times boring work, but it has to be done. The good thing is that you are the only person that you have to handle. As soon as you shoot a scene, you have to handle others as well, and making them comfortable, explaining what you plan to do, etc. And this can be quite hard at times. So nonetheless, it's very enjoyable, especially when you see a scene coming to life. For example, the one in the woods where Jean says, "They cut me out of her." I had certain imaginations of it, but I really didn't expect that Luke would deliver the line so much better than I imagined. Or Simone's performance when she's at gunpoint. She really did a great job. And everybody I talked so far, be it people from the audience or any of the other crew members, agreed that she was the best performer in the whole movie. And as all of us, she never did anything like that before. Even so, she didn't like doing it. She did it for us, and she will probably never do it again. What is a pity, honestly.
Thank you so much. I wish the very best for you. Thanks.
Same to you. Thanks again for having me.